When Jungkook of BTS was announced as the new global face of Calvin Klein, the fashion world erupted in excitement, but not just from fans. The cameras flashed relentlessly, social media trended uncontrollably, and the industry's elite watched with anticipation. Yet, amid all the fanfare, one reaction captured the internet's attention like wildfire: Kendall Jenner's. The question everyone was asking instantly was unavoidable. Was she jealous? Or was she genuinely impressed? The answer was elusive, wrapped in a fleeting glance and a perfectly controlled expression. At the Calvin Klein event in Los Angeles, Kendall Jenner appeared poised as always, wearing a sleek black outfit that hugged her frame and emphasized her status as a fashion icon. But the atmosphere shifted when the giant screen behind her flickered to life, showcasing Jungkook's new campaign. The video played across the room with him standing confidently, jawline sharp, eyes smoldering, his charisma radiating without effort. Kendall's gaze lingered on the screen, her smile seeming to falter just slightly, a subtle moment that social media immediately dissected. Fans paused and replayed the footage, debating endlessly. Was it admiration, surprise, or silent competitiveness? Was Hollywood finally witnessing the shift of power toward Asian icons? The campaign itself was revolutionary. Jungkook did not rely on extravagant backdrops or overproduced visuals. His presence alone, natural and magnetic, commanded attention. Media outlets were quick to acknowledge this phenomenon. Vogue described him as magnetic beyond industry norms. Rolling Stone called him a pop icon redefining masculine sensuality, and the cut hinted at a more profound transformation, suggesting that fashion's global epicenter might no longer reside in Los Angeles or Paris. The narrative that unfolded wasn't merely about a new face for a brand. It was about a seismic cultural shift that challenged traditional hierarchies and redefined what it meant to dominate the fashion world. Fans were relentless in their analysis of Kendall's reaction. Some speculated jealousy, believing that her fleeting expression indicated recognition of Jungkook's sudden dominance in a space she had once effortlessly owned. Others argued that it was pure admiration. One viral tweet captured this sentiment, stating, "Maybe she wasn't jealous. Maybe she was in awe. You can't fake that kind of charisma. Jungkook owns the camera." Still, gossip blogs suggested avoidance and subtle signs of feeling overshadowed, igniting a frenzy of speculation. Every blink, every subtle turn of her head became fodder for online debate, proving that the moment transcended mere celebrity gossip. It became a reflection of shifting global influence. The implications of this event were more profound than a viral clip or a single social media post. For decades, Western supermodels like Kendall Jenner had dominated the global fashion scene, shaping standards and defining trends. But with Jungkook leading a Calvin Klein campaign, the industry witnessed a monumental change. It was no longer about featuring an Asian artist as a novelty. It was about positioning him at the center, highlighting his cultural influence and global appeal. Fashion insiders observed that this partnership was less about marketing and more about acknowledging a new era where influence and popularity were no longer confined to traditional Western hubs. Industry insiders confirmed the significance of this moment. A source close to Calvin Klein mentioned that Kendall respects Jungkook's achievements, recognizing his undeniable impact on global pop culture. Yet, even such reassurances failed to quell the speculation. Fans remained obsessed, replaying the moment over and over, dissecting every nuance of her expression. The story wasn't simply about Kendall's reaction. It had transformed into a commentary on the rise of Asian influence in global fashion and entertainment. Beyond the speculation about celebrity emotions, the campaign itself had tangible effects. Calvin Klein's online engagement skyrocketed, with campaign videos reaching unprecedented numbers of views and driving significant sales increases. Social media erupted with reactions ranging from awe at Jungkook's presence to debate about Kendall Jenner's subtle expressions. The moment crystallized a larger cultural trend: the undeniable shift of power from a Western-centric fashion hierarchy to a more globalized, inclusive landscape, with Asian icons taking prominent positions on the world stage. Kendall's enigmatic reaction, whether rooted in admiration, awareness, or a fleeting moment of competitiveness, became a symbol of the times. It represented the changing balance of influence, the challenge to previously uncontested dominance, and the recognition of Jungkook's growing global power. In this single moment, fans and critics alike witnessed the intersection of culture, celebrity, and industry evolution. Jungkook didn't just become the face of Calvin Klein, he embodied a movement, redefining what it meant to be a global icon and leaving Hollywood to acknowledge that the rules had changed. As the event concluded and the lights dimmed, the imagery of Jungkook on the screen lingered. Kendall Jenner remained composed, her expression carefully measured, but the world had already decided that the night belonged to Jungkook. The campaign not only amplified his status as a cultural powerhouse, but also sparked conversations about representation, influence, and the evolving dynamics of fame. Whether Kendall's reaction was jealousy, awe, or a complex combination of both, it served as a marker of history, the moment when the world witnessed the undeniable rise of an Asian artist commanding attention at the highest levels of Western fashion. The lingering question remains, almost tantalizingly, what did she really feel in that fleeting glance, and what does it tell us about the future of global fashion? From the moment the Calvin Klein campaign featuring Jungkook went live, the world reacted in waves of excitement, disbelief, and fascination. His presence was more than a mere endorsement. It was a phenomenon that transcended fashion, pop culture, and even national boundaries. Social media exploded, with hashtags like #JungkookForCK, #GlobalIcon, and #KendallReaction trending worldwide. But amid the frenzy, the most dissected moment wasn't Jungkook's chiseled features or perfectly tailored outfits. It was Kendall Jenner's gaze. Why did the supermodel, usually the epitome of poise and control, look so caught off guard? Could this fleeting glance reveal a silent acknowledgement of a new cultural hierarchy, or was it simply a moment of admiration frozen in time? Hollywood gossip outlets immediately seized on every detail. Videos of Kendall at the Calvin Klein afterparty spread like wildfire, showing her subtly adjusting her hair, tilting her head, and locking eyes on the massive screen playing Jungkook's campaign. Commentary exploded across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. One fan theorized, Kendall just realized that the crown of global influence might be shifting. Another argued, she's smiling, but there's a spark of recognition. He's a threat, and she knows it. The debate wasn't just about celebrity behavior. It became a conversation about the shifting dynamics of power, influence, and global pop culture dominance. Jungkook's campaign itself defied expectations. Rather than relying on glitzy effects or overproduced visuals, the focus was entirely on him, his posture, his expression, his effortless charisma. Every frame seemed to capture not just a model posing, but a cultural moment, an assertion that the world was paying attention and that it was ready to embrace a new kind of global icon. Observers noted how Jungkook's aura commanded attention in a way that seemed almost natural, almost effortless. Media outlets from Vogue to Rolling Stone praised his poise and subtle seduction, noting that his appeal didn't come from exaggeration, but from a quiet confidence that resonated universally. And then there was Kendall. A veteran of fashion weeks, campaigns, and red carpets, she has long been celebrated for her ability to dominate spaces with poise and charisma. Yet at that moment, the subtle tension in her expression became impossible to ignore. It wasn't dramatic or overt. It was a brief flash, a glimmer that suggested something deeper. In a room full of industry elites, executives, photographers, and influencers, Kendall's focus on Jungkook was telling. Was it envy, admiration, or a moment of self-awareness? Perhaps it was all three. Fans and commentators scoured every frame, examining the micro-expressions that might hint at the truth. Speculation about her reaction has not died down. Some argue that it is a sign of fear, a recognition that Hollywood's traditional dominance in fashion is being challenged. The rise of Asian artists in global markets has been steady for years, but few have had the impact of Jungkook. His presence in a Calvin Klein campaign wasn't just symbolic, it was market-changing. Sales of the featured apparel reportedly soared by more than 40% in the first week alone, and the campaign video broke multiple streaming records. The impact was undeniable, And for those entrenched in the Western fashion hierarchy, it was a moment of reckoning. Yet others believe Kendall's expression was one of respect. As someone who understands the relentless pressures of the industry, she may have recognized the rare combination of influence, talent, and charisma that Jungkook represents. In interviews after the event, insiders claimed she had nothing but admiration for him, acknowledging that he is a generational talent capable of redefining global trends. Still, the ambiguity of a brief, unguarded moment fueled endless speculation. In the age of social media, a single look can become a viral narrative, and Kendall's glance was no exception. The incident also sparked conversations about the broader cultural implications of Jungkook's rise. For decades, global fashion standards were dictated largely by Western tastes and ideals, with icons like Kendall Jenner, Gigi Hadid, and Bella Hadid leading the charge. Their faces were everywhere, from magazine covers to luxury campaigns, and they shaped the narrative of what was desirable, aspirational, and aspirationally cool. But Jungkook's campaign challenged this long-standing hierarchy. He didn't conform to Western ideals, he transcended them, merging pop culture stardom with high fashion allure in a way that demanded attention on a global scale. Fans noticed the cultural symbolism immediately. Social media was flooded with posts comparing Jungkook's campaign to Kendall's previous CK shoots. While Kendall's images epitomized Western beauty standards, poised, controlled, and sophisticated, Jungkook's portrayed authenticity, confidence, and global appeal. The contrast was undeniable, and it quickly became a point of discussion not just for fans, but for fashion critics and cultural commentators. Was the West finally recognizing the rise of Asia as a powerhouse in pop culture? And more provocatively, was Kendall's fleeting expression a subtle acknowledgement of this shift? Calvin Klein executives remained tight-lipped, though sources hinted that Kendall's professionalism remained intact throughout the event. She posed for photographers, greeted colleagues, and delivered speeches with the same charm she has honed over years. Yet the internet had already cemented the narrative. Memes circulated endlessly, framing her glance as everything from envy to awe, from admiration to quiet realization. The campaign had become a story not just about fashion, but about identity, culture, and generational shifts in power. The moment also raised larger questions about representation and influence in the entertainment and fashion industries. Jungkook's presence in such a high-profile campaign challenged old paradigms and emphasized the growing importance of Asian representation on the global stage. For many, his success isn't just about celebrity endorsement. It's a broader statement about the interconnected world we live in today, where influence is no longer centralized in traditional Western markets. The debate over Kendall's reaction, then, is emblematic of something much larger. The recognition that a new era of global influence has begun. Even weeks after the event, the topic remains trending. Every interview, every social media post, and every fan discussion revisits that fleeting moment when Kendall's eyes met the screen showing Jungkook. Analysts note that the campaign's unprecedented reach, millions of streams, billions of impressions, represents not only a commercial triumph, but also a cultural milestone. In an industry where visibility equates to power, Jungkook's ability to command attention without physical presence underscores the shift of influence from the traditional Western elite to a more diverse, global stage. Some fashion historians argue that the significance of this event cannot be overstated. They suggest that we are witnessing the symbolic passing of the baton. Kendall Jenner, representing decades of Western fashion dominance, encountered Jungkook, a rising icon whose influence transcends geography, language, and culture. Their silent interaction, captured in milliseconds, is more than a celebrity reaction. It is a snapshot of an evolving world, a tangible representation of the transformation occurring within global culture. And yet, the world continues to ask the same question: what did Kendall truly feel in that moment? Was it jealousy, recognition, awe, or a mixture of all three? In the end, the ambiguity only adds to the allure, keeping fans, fashion enthusiasts, and gossip seekers endlessly engaged. Because the story isn't just about a campaign or a model, it's about power, representation, and the evolution of global influence. Jungkook's campaign continues to shatter expectations, selling out collections, breaking digital engagement records, and sparking conversations across continents. Calvin Klein has harnessed more than just a celebrity endorsement. They have captured a movement, a cultural shift, a new reality where influence knows no borders. Meanwhile, Kendall Jenner remains a figure of elegance and poise, her subtle reaction immortalized by the lens and dissected endlessly online. The world watches, debates, and speculates, drawn in by a moment that was brief, yet monumental, questioning everything we thought we knew about fashion, fame, and global cultural hierarchies.